Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Andhika, and for this argumentation, I will be arguing in favor of clothing being a reason for rape. But are not arguing this in order to justify rapists, but it must be considered as a factor. And to prove this, I will be using the works of multiple feminist authors and sociologists. So, it has been observed by most fashion theorists back in the day that clothing in and of itself is not made in order to shield people from the elements or to display status, but it is mode of communication, a mode of indirect communication. And so if you display, if you wear sexually revealing clothing, you are communicating rather unintentionally sexual interests. And then fashion. And many feminists argue that promiscuous clothing is a form of the institution that is sexualization. And sexualization, many feminists argue, is a form of men's control over women in order to make them look more attractive. And if you fall victim to such an institution, you will be more vulnerable to the whims of men. Some works of sociologists such as Ringrose and Reynolds state that women who dress promiscuously are just playing an act, as in people who wear certain amounts of clothing usually are not exactly like how their clothing portrays, but it's only playing an act that they might find cool. That happens with women who dress promiscuously, and if they people who think dressing promiscuously is cool, even though they themselves are not promiscuous, will over time start playing with that act over and over again and will be influenced by that. The main source I got is the essay called by Tim Edwards, and the conclusion that it reached is that the fashion that we wear doesn't as much express ourselves, which is an content argument against people who say that wearing promiscuous clothing allows people to express, but in actuality it doesn't express anything. It's mostly taints your individual personhood. So people who aren't promiscuous that wear promiscuous clothing will be tainted over and over again to become more promiscuous. And this sort of institution extends not only to adults but sometimes to children. Case such as Asda. Asda is this UK bra company, and it sells bras mostly to teenage girls, underage girls. And because to follow market rules, they made the bras padded. And that displays, through fashion theory, a sense of sexual interest, which makes them more susceptible to sexual violence. So, sexual violence. So, in conclusion, even though fashion might not be the sole reason why rape happens, fashion should be considered in a place in the investigation of such heinous acts. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.